Okay, this is screencast for Unit 12. My name is David Scott Croy, and I did my observations at Park oil field, and it was right about here. We're going to start with a general description of the weather and the weather patterns over the state. Sunday, we have fog and snow to the north of stationary front, and we have patchy skies to the south with two lows in the North Pacific and an occluded front here that is pushing this head of thick clouds into the Dillingham area. Monday, we have Alaska is covered in high pressure systems with a low to the southwest of the state. There is 75% cloud cover and rain in the area of the low along the Alaska Peninsula and to the southeast. On to Tuesday. Now we have a cyclone activity here in the North Pacific with a low pressure pushing wet weather into the southern part of the state here. And we have heavy clouds along the trough to the northwest, all along the western coast. And we have warm air here pushing ahead of the trough, or excuse me, ahead of the low. Wednesday, we have clear skies into the interior. To the north, we have clouds and fogs to the west. And to the south, we have wet weather along the southern coast. And with a major storm system in the North Pacific, pushing warm air up from the south here in the occluded front and pressing north for a second day. We have rain along this area here, along the south area and the southeast area. On to Thursday. Thursday, Alaska is completely covered with clouds, as you can see. A low pressure and an occluded front. There's still, again, pressing warm air north here, and the coastline is a mix of rain. The major low down in this area. Friday, a high pressure is moving in from the east, an occluded front with a cyclone moving off to the southeast, encircled by 2-3 extra lows, and the rain is encircling the southern part of the state, southern coast of the state. And on to Saturday, day 7. The cyclone that was down in the more south has moved north, and it's bringing with it is bringing more rain and clear skies to the north of the trough in the Fairbanks area with clouds above that. This is continuously pushing warm weather north for the entire week, this occluded front. Okay, next question is, what methods of forecasting was the most accurate? Well, I'd like to start off to say that climatology forecast was not successful for this period of time, being that the week was unreasonably warm and did not fit into the norm of the past. The persistence method of forecasting could have been helpful for the week's weather because the low that stayed in the North Pacific here was very persistent for the whole week, with lows in the area, cloud cover, higher temperatures due to the occluded front, and more precipitation along the coast, pressing forward and okay, next question is, can you give any reasons why forecasts may be more accurate in some geographic regions than others? Yeah, some regions of the state are more accurate than others due to the availability of sophisticated weather equipment not available in other regions. Also, the time spent observing weather and collecting data in the area contributes to the overall understanding of weather in the local areas. Some areas have considerable more time where people have observed the particular weather patterns in areas than others. And some geographic areas have distinct weather patterns that mix with synoptic weather patterns in undefined ways, such as the middle of the state always seems to be a battleground for clear skies and clouds right here. Okay, the next question is, can you give any reasons why forecasts may be more accurate when high pressures rather than low pressures are in the area? High pressure systems are called fair weather systems due to the fact they converge above and allow air to descend while warming and drying. The descending air creates light winds and clear skies over vast areas, as we can see right here. The type of system can be persistent, keeping bad weather at bay and making it easier for forecasters to be right. It's going to be clear and cloudless in this area. Persistence. Also, bad weather can be seen moving in from long distance away, giving the approaching storms clear path and time to be well seen. While low pressure systems converge at the surface, rising cooling air creates clouds and precipitation, strong winds, and mixing of different air masses. This type of system is a mix of weather from sunny to rainy. On a local scale, it's hard to make correct forecasts, and on the larger scale, you could be very general and say that it's going to be a mix of clouds and sun, but it is much harder to be precise in a low pressure than is high, especially with any clarity from days to days out. Okay, next question. I was asked to focus on the southwestern stations of Bethel, Dillingham, and the Kenai, and discuss how the passage of the cyclones through this region influence the temperature observations at these stations. Well, with the passage of the cyclone in this area, the area is marked with a rise in temperatures of 17 degrees in Bethel, 7 degrees in Dillingham, and 7 degrees in Kenai. The cyclone brought increased cloud cover, which helps maintain the heat in the area through radiant heat. Higher levels of warm moisture from the southern part of the Pacific. And as the warm air comes north, it reaches its dew point as it's pressed against the mountains, and it releases latent heat to further increase the temperature as it's being pushed northward. Okay, the next question is, I was asked to discuss how the weather in Kenai might have been different on Sunday the 30th if the low pressure had followed my student trend forecast rather than its actual path. Well, start off, my student observation was wrong. I thought the low pressure was going to move east to the Alaska Peninsula. Instead, it moved over Kodiak. If I was right, Kenai might have been a lot drier and clearer than it was. I was hoping the low would have gone straight and it would have kept the tail off that low pressure on a latitude south of the southern coast of Alaska. Okay, question 4. On Thursday the 26th, record high temperatures were recorded in Fairbanks, and near record high temperatures were recorded across the interior. Briefly discuss how the cloudiness and wind conditions contributed to the high temperatures across the state. Well, in the beginning of the week, the interior was clear and cold like it normally is, and then a major set of low pressures started coming into the northern Pacific, bringing with it large amounts of warm moisture from the mid-Pacific. These lows cycled in and out of the North Pacific all week, sending troughs of low pressure throughout the state and sending warm moisture north. Some high clouds reached the interior and created a heat trap over the interior, while some left the moisture on the coast and in the mountains on the southern part of the state, allowing the air to warm and descend on the lee side of the mountains, further heating the interior. Also, the wind helped move out the cold temperatures and inversions that frequently happen in the interior around Fairbanks. And when that happened, the warmer air from the south moved in from the North Pacific. Okay, last question. I was asked briefly discuss what meteorological conditions contribute to the fact the forecasts on Tuesday, the 24th, did a better job of predicting the higher temperatures on Thursday than Saturday the 21st. On the 24th, the forecaster was able to do a better job because of the clear skies in the middle of the state, created a window to see the low moving in from the south at a determinable speed. This allowed for a time frame for the arrival of cloud cover and higher temperatures. After Tuesday, the entire state was under the influence of lows from the North Pacific and thick cloud bands, sometimes intermixing with clear skies. On Saturday, the area was not under any major storms, nor was there one in the immediate future on the weather map. The area had a stationary front in the area with light clouds over the interior with the rain along the coast. There was not a lot of movement in the weather maps to herald any type of forecast of wide change of conditions. Thank you.